to honor the memory and the legacy of our founding pastor. Many of you already know that it was in 1962 that the Reverend William Alexander Lawson, along with 13 other individuals, especially his late wife, Mrs. Audrey Lawson, began our church in their living room, in their home that was at that time located on the campus of Texas Southern University. And for now nearly 62 years, this church has been right here in the heart of Third Ward. And of course, we celebrate our founder's life. We're grateful for the impact that he has made, not just here at Wheeler Avenue, but in Houston and in Texas and even across this nation and around the world. And so it is with heavy hearts that we announce his passing, as it was announced yesterday, but it is with gratitude that we celebrate the lasting memory of our founding pastor and the legacy that he leaves behind. Of course, we're praying for his 3 daughters, Melanie Lawson, Cheryl Lawson, and Roxanne Lawson. He has 2 granddaughters and 2 great-grandsons, and so we want to pray for them. We want to thank God for the Houston community and for all that they have done to make sure that we have been able to remember and celebrate our founding pastor. So many well wishes and thoughts of love and care and concern have come to us, and we're grateful for that. The Reverend Lawson loved Houston, Texas, and he was significantly concerned about the underclasses, about those who were the impoverished, the disenfranchised, and he was blessed to hold a position of honor that allowed him to build bridges between those who were the haves and those who were the have-nots. He was able to stand and be a catalyst for those who needed to know that they had a voice in this community and that they had a seat at the table. And so we thank God for the legacy that Pastor Lawson has left. Of course, we will celebrate him next week, beginning Tuesday. Tuesday, our church will come together for a time of congregational remembrance. And then Thursday, the entire community is invited to come to Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church, beginning at 6 p.m. here in our cathedral, where we will celebrate his life in a community service. Many of our community representatives will be here to speak and celebrate his life in that way. And we invite you to be here. The entire city is invited to share with us at 6 p.m. on Thursday evening. And then Friday morning, we will have the final celebration of his life here again in the cathedral, where we will invite all those who are able to come at 11 a.m. And at 11 a.m., we will begin our celebration of Pastor Lawson's life. And we will thank God for the commitment that he had, not only to God, but to all of God's people wherever he found them. We're grateful that we have the opportunity to have you on our campus today, and of course there may be questions that need to be asked, and I'll be glad to answer them. But before I do that, I certainly want to ask that those who are listening will think very soberly, very carefully about your own legacy and what you will leave behind as regard to when your time on this earth comes to an end. Pastor Lawson has done a great work, and we are grateful for the work that he has done. And he will be remembered for generations to come. Whether people know his name or not, his work in the Houston community will live on forever. And I hope that you will likewise have that kind of legacy, that you will think about what kind of legacy you leave behind, and you will make a difference in the world. The civil rights anthem that was a part of Pastor Lawson's mantra went a little like this: if I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or song, if I can show somebody that he or she is traveling wrong, then my living will not be in vain. Today, I'm grateful to announce that the living of Pastor William Alexander Lawson will not be in vain. Thank you so much for being here. We have a profound love, as you might imagine, for Pastor Lawson, for the work that he has done. And so his living has shaped us, even more than his death will. His living has reminded us of our necessity to show love for all humanity, to ensure that no one feels as if they are not included in the family of God or in the family of our congregation. And so his living has shown us that much more than his death will have shown us that. And so I'm grateful that we have the opportunity to be reminded by his 95 years of life that he was committed to people everywhere, and making sure that those people felt that they knew that they had the stamp of God on their lives and that they were valued as a consequence.
Are you able to share maybe one of your most fondest moments that you had
Well, I came to Houston. Pastor Lawson and I met in 1998, 97 really, and I came to Houston in 1998. So there are a lot of memories that I have. I don't know about the fondest ones, but I think, although we worked together, I was the associate pastor of Wheeler Avenue for 6 years before I became pastor, and we would go out to lunch a lot. And I think our lunch conversations and just hearing his reflections on his life and hearing his theology, the way that he approaches life, his sociology, all of those conversations have an indelible impact on have had an indelible impact on my life, and I'll never forget them as long as I live. Thank you for asking. Yeah, please.
For those who may not know Reverend Lawson, what do you want them to know and remember about him?
Yeah. For those who don't know Reverend Lawson, I want you to know that this man fought to make sure that people in this city, in this community, had rights that may have been taken from them by those who had the power. Pastor Lawson fought for the homeless, for the indigent, for those people who did not have access to powerful positions and to people who would maybe fight for them. And so Pastor Lawson took it upon himself to fight in their stead. He was a civil rights leader in the 60s when he first got here, the 50s to be sure. He made sure that the students that he worked with at Texas Southern University would have the opportunity to march for, to protest for, to sit in for the rights that were created in them by God, who instilled those rights in all of our lives. And so I think all of us in this community are blessed and are better because Pastor Lawson worked here, whether we know it or not. All of us have benefited from his ministry. Thank you.
Any other questions? So many people have had an impact, have felt the imprint of his life within the community, within the church. For those who choose to come to the celebration of life, what can they expect on that day?
They can expect less somberness and more celebration. Our intent is to celebrate with good music. Pastor Lawson loved good music. And then there'll be a lot of speakers. There are so many people whose lives have been impacted by his ministry and by his work here in Houston. And so several people have been chosen by the family to speak, to remember him in that way. So although we'll ask them to limit their time of reflection, we can expect that many people will share their fond remembrances of Pastor Lawson, and there'll be music that will fill the place and make sure that we have not a festive time, but a celebrative time. Because when we think about 95 years, we have reason to celebrate. Thank you for asking.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, Melinda. Thank you all.